Hello, good people. It is Eric Taylor, Big E Astrology, back again with another amazing Knowledge is Love Astrology podcast, episode 261. And Lloyd will break down those numbers for us and what that means, right? Because that's a nine. And my guest is legendary astro-numerologist, author. He has his own app, a numerology and astrology teacher, and a welcome guest, returning guest to the show. I tonight welcome Mr. Lloyd Strayhorn. How are
Eric,
you, my friend?
I'm fine with your embarrassing self.
Listen. You know, we got to start off laughing because this is a serious topic.
You best believe it.
We are 1 week away
Literally.
from, some say, the biggest election of our lifetime. I feel like I've heard that before,
Yeah. Yeah.
but it is important. And it is coming up next Tuesday, right? November 5th.
Yep.
And we're dealing with former President Donald Trump and
Yes.
current Vice President Kamala Harris.
Yes.
Now, all jokes aside, let's start off with that numerology. What is episode 261? I know it's a nine, but is there any other meanings to that? And explain to everyone today, the moon's in Libra, but what is the universal day and year? And I love how you break all that down.
Well, today's universal day, since it is the 29th, is a 2 or master number 11 universal day. So this is a day for raising one's consciousness, one's awareness, one's insight, one's intuition. They're going to be like spirits of kind of flashes of inspiration that comes to them and ideas and things of that nature. But when you talk about 261, which is a nine, ironically, it's a nine universal month. How I got it was simple. 2024 added to the 10th calendar month equals 18, and 1 plus 8 equals 9, which means for 2025, we're going into a 9 universal year.
Yeah.
And universal means everyone. So those under the signs of Aries, those under the signs of Scorpio, and the minor way Leo will be very important in the affairs. And this would include nations. Any nation that is ruled by the nine, a city that's ruled by the nine, all of those will do very, very well in that way. So it's going to
Now,
be interesting.
that's awesome. Now, I'll let the audience know you didn't know, and I didn't plan it. That it just happened to be, episode 261. So that's perfect. So I do want to kind of lead you into this and set up the astrology because Pluto is still in Capricorn at 29 degrees. On
Yeah.
November 3rd and 4th, we have Mars in Cancer, where it's in its planetary fall, opposing Pluto
Yep.
in Capricorn at that 29th degree. And then later that night on November 4th, Mars will dance into Leo. Those are two explosive days, Lloyd, right before Tuesday, election day. What does that mean to you?
Well, the election is explosive anyway. And we know Pluto is the planet of transformation. You know what I'm saying? And so with all of those things happening, so it's not a transformation as a possible president one way or the other on the Republican or Democratic side, but some saying that this is going to be the last election ever, that no matter how it goes forward, it's going to be king for life, queen for life. You know what I'm saying? So that's
Listen,
how they're talking.
I've heard that too. But you know what's so funny, Lloyd? Aren't we at a point? And I know people in the chat welcome, and we will get to you soon. And thank you for coming. But honestly, since 2020, can anyone say that they can't fathom anything happening? Anything can happen. I mean, we're
Yeah.
only a week out, and still it's hard for me to tap in to there even being an election. Why do you think that is?
Well, I think because people have been, I think, actually inundated with on a daily basis of their phones, their computers, their tablets, and it's interesting because there was some person from the intelligence community saying really they knew what they knew. People would back off of these things. It's just a way of programming.
Yeah.
That's why you don't leave your phone in the bedroom or by your bed, all kinds of things like that. So there's so many things going on, but there's a whole different feel about this particular election. Totally. First of all, you have a woman of color. You have one of the oldest men at the time in on December the 4th of 1980. The oldest president at that time was Ronald Wilson Reagan, who was 69 years old. He
Yeah.
was considered old. Now you got Donald Trump, who is 78.
Yes.
Okay. So, I mean, it's like, then you got, like, listen. So, that's all I can say, man. It's going to be an interesting election. And so, with us, it's not about who's going to win as so much as laying the conditions for people to, you know, make up their own minds. So that's all we're doing. We setting the stage, laying the
Yep.
stage, what's going to happen, and then that's it. That's how we're going to do that.
So wait, let me tell to everybody in the chat and everybody listening in on the replay. So what Lloyd is trying to say in the gentlemanly scholarly way, Eric Taylor and Lloyd Strayhorn, we're not making any predictions because this
Yeah,
thing is
yeah,
a coin
yeah,
toss, and
yeah,
you're not sticking nothing to us, okay?
yeah. Because people are on edge anyway. You know, it's interesting. There's this guy named Alan Lichtman.
Yeah.
Alan Lichtman was born on April the 4th. He has 13 letters in his name, and he used a 13-point platform to determine who would win. And of the last 10 elections going back to 1980, he is predicted, with the exception of one, and that was the election of 2000 between Al Gore and George Bush. And other than that, he has predicted every single one. Well, he is predicted based upon his 13-point assessment
Mm,
that Kamala Harris will win. You
okay.
know, they got upset with him. Probably had he said in his 13 assessment that Donald Trump would win, they would get upset. So he's in a no
Yeah.
man's land, no matter
Listen,
which way it goes. You know.
unfortunately, you guys, and I would say this, our country is so divided that you can't win by making any predictions because it's like a 50-50 split. I'll say this in the astrology, and then I want you to break down the numerology of the day and each candidate. We know that Kamala and Donald Trump were both, you guys, born on a full moon.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Yeah.
hers is exact at 27 degrees with the Aries moon in the 11th house and the Libra sun in the 5th house. Donald J. Trump is 21 degrees Sagittarius moon, 20 degrees Gemini sun in the 11th, Sag moon in the 5th. So they both kind of have an 11th, 5th axis, which is 5th house political discussion and debate, and the 11th house, the actual like president, Senate, Congress, politicians, right? The 10th house is the government.
Yeah.
But with Trump, on top of that, Lloyd, he's actually born on a lunar eclipse, which is very karmic and fated, which is why he's probably gone through all that he's gone through and running for a second time with all the controversy around him. Um, but what does it mean to you when you think of her being the Gemini rising and the North Node on her ascendant, and Jupiter's in transit there? That's very favorable, right? And
Yeah.
then Trump, the Sun, North Node, and Uranus in his 11th house with Jupiter transiting. And on election day, you guys, Jupiter will exactly be at 20 degrees on his North Node.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. On one hand, one favors this candidate, and on the other hand, it favors another candidate. But let me explain it this way too, which is a point
Yes.
well taken. We are about to enter a 9 universal year. How did I do that? I simply says 2025, adding those 4 digits adds up to a 9.
Right.
Well, you and I know 9 is governed by the planet Mars. That's the war planet. That deals with, it's 9 is supposed to be the humanitarian planet, global, universal, international. But to the negative, it rules guns, knives, wars. Notice how since late September, October, the war has escalated not only in Ukraine, but the Middle East.
Yes.
Okay. Notice, and since it rules guns, knives, explosions, fender benders, confrontations. And so notice it's not like people have a dislike for each other, they have a hate for each other. You know what I'm saying? So people are really on edge. And so it's things is not even debatable anymore. It's like, if you don't do it my way, there's no way. So it doesn't leave room to kind of iron things out. You know what I'm saying? So it's going to be a very, very intense time, And so maybe with all this conjunction and eclipses and things like that are happening, I just think it's interesting. And it's interesting because Kamala Harris's sun and moon is in air signs, and his sun and moon are in fire signs, which I thought was interesting.
It is extremely interesting. Now, wait, before we go to the numerology, starting with election day, let's check in the chat, see if there's any comments or questions that you want to read, and say hello to some of the audience.
Okay, good enough. Okay, there's somebody says, I'm ready for it all be over. One says, hey, everyone, great evening to my favorite guys, Biggie and Baba Lloyd. Hello, Eric, excited for tonight. Gotta love the numerology too. Ashe, thank you, thank you.
Yeah.
Peace and blessings. Good evening, gentlemen. Message from the audience will display here. Both Harris and Trump were both full moon, and Trump is on a lunar eclipse. This is coming from the Big E.
Yep.
You know, so that's it I see so far. But listen,
Yeah.
I want to thank everybody. Any questions you got? Now, there's only but so much we know. Oh, and this is Co-Color. She follows on Live with Lloyd too. Thanks,
That's
Co-Color.
right. Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Oh no.
So,
Listen, we got a lot of people that love both of us, but you know what's so funny? I've had some people say, "Man, I just love it when you and Lloyd are together." They were like, "I loved it when you were on Lloyd's show." So let them know when I'll be coming back on your show, Lloyd.
you're in my head. We're psychic because you're going to be on my show on January the 1st to kick off the new year to find out what's up for the stars, where the Mercury is going to be retrograde. I think they're going to be retrograde in all water signs for the year coming up, you know, from Pisces to Cancer to Scorpio.
Oh, yeah.
And then we're not talking about other eclipses and things like that. Uranus is going to be.
And we're going to get into the new nodes starting January 11th. The Pisces North Node, Virgo South Node axis for 18 months.
And what we're going to do is for those the initiates that don't understand, you're gonna make those statements. You're gonna break it down because it says like, okay, what does that mean?
Yeah.
And nobody can do it better than you.
I'll bring all the clarity.
So they know. You know what I'm saying?
Well, and it's very important information because as you know, when you're dealing with the karmic nodes, some people say that's a marker of presidents, right? That you've seen the nodes transiting their first house when they won the election. I think Obama, Bush, there was a couple others. So, that is one thing that does favor Kamala. So give us the numerology of election day. What's the universal day and year and all that good stuff?
Well, on that day, believe it or not, when I looked at that day, election day, when I did 11/5, what I did is I put 11 at the top of November, the 5th day underneath the year, added it across. And when I added across, added the numbers down and added across, it was 2040, which equals 6. So it's going to be a 6 universal day, Eric, which means anyone under the sign of Libra and Taurus or born on the 6th, the 15th, or the 24th of the month, because 1 + 5 is 6, 2 + 4 is 6. They will be the beneficiaries of the day. But then what is the personal day of them? So when I did Kamala Harris, what I did was I took October the 20th and added to it the year that we're presently in, 2024. She's in an 11 master number year, and 1 + 1 is 2. Now,
Ooh.
this to me is significant because she's born on the 20th day. So
Yeah.
when she won the election in 2020, she was born on the 20th. Biden was born November the 20th, 1 month after her, and they won the 2020 election, sworn in on January the 20th.
Mm.
So these I think is interesting. As for Donald Trump, when I put June the 14th to 2024, he's in a 1 personal year. Now that means beginnings, new directions.
Leadership.
Yes, that's it. And I think he has a strong aspect in his 10th house, which is a leadership sign anyway, the house of government and things like that.
Yeah.
So for November, she will be in a 4 personal month. He will be in a 3 personal month. And 4s and 3s are oppositional numbers to both of them, respectively. Okay. She'll be in a 9 personal day, which is an opposition number. He will be in an 8 personal day, which is an opposition number. So to me, it is too close to call. But as for Alan Lichtman, who made his presidential predictions, these were the 13 keys he mentioned. He have true keys, he has false keys. How he got all that, I don't know. But these are the 13 keys. The true keys is the primary contest, then the third party, then the short-term and long-term economy, which is 3 and 4, then the policy change, then the social unrest. There has been no social unrest. White House scandals. She hasn't been in the White House scandals, although they want to talk about her past in California as a prosecutor and things like that, and challenger charisma. And then the false terms was the midterm gains, the incumbency, and the incumbent charisma. These were the 13 points or keys that he pointed out as to why she would win. So out of the 13, she possesses 8 of them. Now, what is to be determined, these keys are what the foreign policy success is going to be, as well as the foreign policy success. But you know what's interesting is this. Should Donald Trump win, he will be very unique. Do you know there have only been one president that won the election, lost, and then won it in another term? It was Grover Cleveland, President Grover Cleveland, a Pisces, in fact, born on March the 18th of 1837. He was the only.
And he's the last Pisces president. There hasn't been one since him.
That's exactly right. He served a term as the 22nd president from the administration of office of 1885 to 1887. And then he became the 24th president of between 1893 and 1887, 1897, I should say, right. Which means that should Donald Trump win, he, in addition to Grover Cleveland, would have won 2 non-consecutive terms as presidents of the United States. But when you talk about that, I did an assessment. There have been more Libra presidents than Gemini presidents. The first one was Rutherford B. Hayes. He was elected in 1877. Then the next one was Chester Arthur. He was elected in 1881. Then there was Dwight D. Eisenhower, elected in 1953. And finally, Jimmy Carter in 1977.
Oh, I forgot Jimmy was a Libra. Wow.
Yes, that's right. He was October 1st. And then if you look at John F. Kennedy, he was the first Gemini president, born on May the 29th and won the election of 1960. Then George H. Herbert Walker Bush, he was born on June the 12th. He was elected in 1989. And then finally came Donald J. Trump, who won the election of 2017, who was born on June the 14th. Yeah. Other than that, there have been more Libra president. So if you base it on that, right, you would say, well, maybe Kamala would go in there. But again, our role isn't to make an assessment of who's going to win. We're just laying forth the conditions of things, and then you have to make the judgment.
Well, all that you said, exactly, and I think that that's so true. But what's fascinating, that when you broke down the universal day and year and the numbers, that it favored Libra and Tauruses. Yes. Right? And so that right there is a point to her Libra sun in the 5th house. So I think what's interesting, we still have to remember the nodes have not switched yet. So the South node is in Libra, right? And that's, it's not conjunct her sun, because her sun's at 20 degrees. So it's at 27. And the Libra South node is at 6 degrees. I think election day may get down to 5. But so then the Aries North node, right, that is hitting Trump's 9th house of abundance, wisdom, beliefs, and philosophies, the law. And then the Aries North node is in her 11th house of hopes, dreams, wishes, and, presidential groups, organizations. So there are quite a few things, and especially, if you got Jupiter on the ascendant, I could say that kind of does trump Jupiter in the 11th house. But guess what? Jupiter, you guys, is in its planetary joy in the 11th house, and it will be conjunct exact his North node. So every time you think that you're like 3 bricks for Kamala, then you're like, but wait a minute, there's almost 3 bricks. This is what I'm saying.
So on one hand, it leads this way, and on the other hand, it leads that way. So if anybody thinks that you and I are going to get in trouble trying to make a prediction, it's not happening. We're just laying the groundwork, and then it is up to you to decide who you want to be your president of the United States.
But I do want to say this to everybody, for me, I really want us to get to a place, and it's funny that you said that some people do feel that this could be the last election, and I always tell people faith over fear, right? I've got Jupiter on the ascendant, so I'm extremely optimistic, Lloyd, and I do believe the sun will shine tomorrow, and it will shine. It will shine November 5th and 6th as well. Yeah, okay. Yeah. So, but I do encourage everyone, whether you're voting for Kamala or Trump or not at all, let's focus and pray and vibrate from our heart chakras with love and peace for our country, because we're only hurting ourselves as a collective when we stay in this divisive and division and hate and vitriol. That that only helps the people that are one percenters and are extremely wealthy. For us common folks, we've got to find ways of unity and being able to build small businesses and to unite and to work with one another, because that's going to get us a lot further, you know. And I know this divide is strong. I'm not trying to play Pollyanna with it, but I'm trying to say zoom out, right? Get real Jupiter about it. Zoom out and see the big picture, because we are all still American citizens. So we do need peace and we do need prosperity and positivity, no matter who wins. You
Well,
know?
let me say this: in this nation and around the world, people are not interested in war at all. Literally,
No.
no one comes out a winner. It just seems either they said the military industrial complex, the power elite, that exclusive group, and it's all about profit. But profit at humanitarian life, that seems almost obscene, to be honest with you.
No,
That to make a dollar, and so they blow everybody to kingdom come. So how do they make a profit the next time? There ain't gonna be no people to make a profit from. How do we do that? So you blow the world to kingdom come. Radiation is gonna be in the air for months. They'll be in their bunkers, and when they come out, there ain't gonna be nobody above ground. So I mean, it's gonna be a lonely world. So just the elite just walk this planet Earth. Are people thinking
exactly.
seriously?
Yeah,
Because 9 to the positive is a humanitarian number, universal love. That's it, not universal war. To the negative side, that's what it is. But to the positive side, 9 represents global, universal, international, a worldliness, brotherly love, sisterly love, humanitarians. You see what I'm saying? And so
definitely.
I'm hoping that that will prevail. But I was saying on another show one time that I don't think Mother Nature will let any species, whether it's an ant or a human being, dominate this earth.
That's
And
right.
I think, when I was in school, they had the Malthusian theory, which means that because of natural catastrophes and earthquakes and hurricanes and floods, that it will equal everything out. You see what I'm saying? So it's
Oh
a
yeah,
reproduction.
Gaia Mother Earth has got something up her sleeve for all of us.
This is what I'm trying to tell you. And Mother Earth is not going to let no species, whether man or down to an ant, overrule it. I'm sorry. I just don't think so. So I believe in a higher thing. So yes, we could be Pollyanna, according to some people. They're probably saying, "Look at these naive brothers up in here talking this stuff, and we about to go to war." Yeah, all right, we'll see. There are motions in the stars that will always do things that man has no control over. Man has no control over these eclipses. None of
That's
these control over some of the celestial aspects that go on that affects the heaven, affects events in
that's
man's
right.
time. They don't have a clue. I know what their intentions are, but then you got the heavenly intentions. And brother, we all must confide or must obey to the heavenly intentions. The way the planets move, the stars move, the way they have an alignment. So I'm going with the heavens, brother. That's what I'm going with.
I love it, and you said a mouthful there, and the gospel has been spoken, and I love that. So I want to get your opinion on this, because I found this fascinating in doing some research, and you gave me some insights on this before last time we spoke. But the two most rare signs for presidents are Virgo and Aries, and then the two most common are Aquarius and Scorpio. And I know you had mentioned about the four that were assassinated and one wasn't. So I want you to get into that. But what I really want you to explain, is there something with that that connects with the numerology? Like why are Virgo and Aries less, and why do you think Aquarius and Scorpio are
Well,
more?
one thing is the don't forget, the United States is a cancer conceived on the 4th of July of 1776.
Yeah.
We know the opposition sign or opposition sign to one of the opposition signs to Cancer, other than Capricorn, is Aries. So that would explain it. Do you know of the 50 US contiguous state, there are no Aries states? There's not one state under the sign of Aries, not one.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Which I thought was interesting.
That
And
is
so as for
fascinating.
Virgo, That's interesting because there's only been two, which is Lyndon Baines Johnson, who won it in November of, he won it in 1962-63 when John F. Kennedy was assassinated at Love Field on December the 22nd of 1963. I think, yes, it was 1963.
November 22nd. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So he won the election going into 64. Then the only one before that was Howard David Taft. He was born September the 15th. You see what I'm saying? But in the Scorpio side, most of the presidents have been Scorpios, and Biden was a Scorpio. But there's a very unique distinction between the 5 Aquarian presidents. They've only been 5. Okay. And what makes Aquarius so interesting is that it is an air sign, and this part of the world that the United States is found on, in this region of the world, is governed by Gemini, which is an air sign. But in addition to that, of the 5 Aquarian presidents, 4 out of 5 of them died in office. William Henry Harrison died. He was the first president to die in office. He was sworn in on March the 4th, and then he died about a month later in April. Then the next was Abraham Lincoln, who was assassinated. He was born on April the 10th. He also died in April. William McKinley was another one who died, but he was around late September, October through an assassination. But it was also Franklin Delano Roosevelt.
Yeah.
And what people don't know is the original swearing in date of the presidents was March the 4th.
Yes, Pisces season. And that made the trine.
Back, yes, and he moved it back to February the 20th.
Now, who was it that moved it back? Was it Truman or?
No. Truman won only because Roosevelt died in office in April of 1945.
Right, no, but who switched inauguration day from March 4th to January 20th?
It was FDR, Franklin Delano Roosevelt.
Oh, it was Roosevelt. Okay, I always forget if it was Roosevelt or Truman, but yeah.
No, it's Roosevelt, and it makes sense because Roosevelt was an Aquarius, and he moved it into the sign of Aquarius, okay? And he had the fear of the 13 too, because he had his secretary, Alice Tully. She wrote a biography. She said anytime there was 13 people in the room, he would always bring her in to bring the spell of the 13. Because the whole United States was found on 13 stars, 13 colonies, 13 naval ships, signed at 1,300.
And that's the 13, family.
Yeah.
13 is
the only president.
The 12 disciples and
yeah.
Jesus. Yeah.
So the only Aquarian president to get out of live was Ronald Wilson Reagan, 666, 6 letters in his first name, middle name, last name. And at the time he was sworn in, the Omen had just came out with Linda Blair. And so when everybody says 666, they was like, ooh, But what happens is he was sworn in on November the 4th of 1980. Then the following year, on March the 30th of 1981, in Washington, D.C., in front of the Hilton Hotel, that was the attempted assassination on his life. Well, what his wife did, because don't forget, they came out of Hollywood. So there was nothing for them to consult astrologers and palmers.
And she was very big.
And
they
she
did with Gorbachev, right? The meetings, her breast cancer surgery, all that's incredible.
She did nothing until she consulted with her astrology, Kathleen Quinn in Aries, born on April the 10th. And after that, Ronald Wilson Reagan did not make a move, did not go out of the country when he says, Gorbachev break down these walls and stuff, the Berlin walls and all that stuff. Yeah. He did none of that until she gave the approval through Kathleen Quinn. And he was therefore the only of the 5 Aquarian presidents to leave office in one piece.
That's incredible. That's incredible. But it's so funny when you brought me back there when you talk about Reagan. So on January 20th, 81, when he was inaugurated, I had a really bad bus accident on the way to school, going to school in New York City on the bus. It was after a snowstorm, and the bus hit like one of those big poles, and the window came in. My buddy and I ducked, and so I didn't die. But when I ducked, my tooth hit. We were in the back row, and those buses. It was a Liberty Lines bus, and hit that back bar, and bow, the tooth chipped, blood all over the place. So I never really liked Reagan because of that. And it happened on inauguration day. I was like, nah, this is a bad omen. even at 10 years old, I knew that. So
you had that presence of mind, right? Say,
Oh man,
okay, this is
listen.
not gonna be good.
But that's the thing that I find fascinating. My boys are 11, my youngest, and they'll ask me different questions, but it's a different time, a different era, because I got to tell you, in 1980, I knew about politics. I was 10 years old. I knew about Reagan, and my friends and everybody in fourth, and I remember fourth and fifth grade, we would talk about stuff like that, and we were really aware. So, what's going on? I guess there's something with the numbers. When you're born in the 1900s, it starts with one, right? One is the alpha, the leader. And
Mhm.
so, is there a huge shift with all the people born after the year 2000 because it's two and
Yes,
it's more
because
feminine?
two rules the feminine principle. Thus, if you notice how the great increase of transgender education,
Yes.
the founding of the rainbow, all this stuff was found in the rise of women. Okay, um, and so there's a lot of things that's happening, and that is the influence of the 21st century, which is governed by two.
Okay.
And in 1990, in the New York Amsterdam News, I wrote "The Rise of the Black Woman" at that time,
Mm,
explaining that as we approach 2000, that women would be coming into their own. And as you know, not only is this the age of Aquarius, this is the age of women anyway.
yes.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, the
So
divine feminine is coming
yeah,
back
yeah,
strong. Yeah.
yeah. So it's a lot of things that are happening, and so this would explain this 2000. And don't forget, each number rules a color. Well, the number two rules green. So notice as we enter the 21st century, what is it? Everybody's talking about the green. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Natural things, solar panels, all that
Yeah.
green stuff. So it's so interesting. It's, for example, the New York Stock Exchange was founded on May 17th in the 1700s, right?
Mm,
Well, it is founded under the sign of Taurus the bull.
yes.
Now, when the market is well, don't they say the market is bullish?
Yep, a bull rush. Yeah,
There are
bullish.
things
Yeah.
that's so obvious in our face that
I
we
know.
know, you
And
know,
when you go down there, you see the
there's a
bull
big
statue.
bull,
Yeah.
there's a big, huge
I've
bull.
worked down there many, many, many times. So, okay, so let's go back to the chat and see if there's any
Okay.
questions or comments because
They
I think
says you said it, Baba. No one is interested in these wars. So if we need to ask ourselves, why are we in it? Who is benefiting? Only the powers that be, and
that's
only
right.
they said the military con. Do you know there are over 700 U.S. military bases around the world?
Oh, we can't mind our own business. But in America's chart with the Sagittarius rising, right, in that seventh house, it has Mars and Uranus. So we're always creating beef and starting things with the other half, right? The other parts of the world. And that's in America's birth chart.
Yeah. And the other, and Solar Pure or Sorbet Pure says, if this is the last election, I personally believe that it will be because we're opening up a whole new area of governance and system, social, everything. I'm personally ready for the change to occur. And so that's what I see everywhere. Hi,
Yeah.
and Nancy was
That's the
right.
missus, Sabale Pure.
Huh? Oh,
That's
really?
the
Oh, that's
missus,
right.
Sabale
That's right.
Pure. Yeah.
That's right. No
That's
wonder
Alana.
it's happening for me. I'm saying, but I had a disconnect. Hi, Alana. How are you?
So, but that in itself is really fascinating. And I like what you said because we are in a dragon year. He's a dog, she's a dragon.
Yeah.
But inauguration day, we're going into next year, 2025 is the year of the
The
snake.
snake. Yes.
So
Yeah.
what does that mean in terms of a dog? I don't know if you know that or not. I
Well,
know
I'm
you
not
gave us
strong
some
on this, but
numerology.
I do know this. There's one thing that's always unique about the Chinese holidays. It always takes place under a new moon in the sign of Aquarius. That's
Yes.
all I know. And being an Aquarius, that's all I need to
Yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah.
Okay? So it's
I
just
always
where
I
the new
always
moon is
found that
going to be.
fascinating. And
Yeah.
there's got to be a deeper reason behind that, don't you think?
Oh yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. And in fact, in Chinese, in fact, they'll buy a house, but they won't move into a house until a certain day. Once you are outside of this Western culture,
Yes.
we need to learn cultures of other people and how they do things.
Oh yeah.
If you talk to Asians, they just don't move in the house. Well, we get it now. The time has got to be right. The stars have got to be right.
Yeah.
You know, like in Japan, for example, they don't let the pilots fly unless they check their biorhythm charts because there's the physical biorhythm, the mental, the emotional, the intellectual biorhythm.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? So there are so many things that goes on that we need to really open our eyes to. But I think that the fascination here, if it's not here, then it's nowhere anywhere. And it doesn't give another chance, another culture from other parts of this human planet to express what happens, because and another thing that fascinates me too.
Mhm.
We can talk about the different colored dogs, the different colored cats and birds. When it comes to the different colors of human beings, we seem to just go bonkers. What is that about?
Yeah.
Such a paradox, such a contradiction.
It's very immature and childish.
Yes, it is.
I tell people race is a measure of distance and a competition or a contest, right? Like the presidential race or a race on the track and field in the Olympics, right? It's not a
Yeah.
construct of it's not a construct of ethnicity and culture. So it's a fallacy. There's no such thing as race when it comes
Well, all
to
of that has been created just to keep people in check and to classify people and whatnot. But you know what? Regardless of what part of the human family we go from, no one leaves this planet alive. That is a common denominator. That's all I can say.
I love it. So, okay. So let's just, I want to have some fun with the numerology, right? We've
Go
got our
ahead.
names here and we've got a Virgo and Aquarius. So, how would Eric Taylor, right, and Lloyd Strayhorn do with our, numbers and our life path? I think you're nine. We're both nines, right? Like, how
Yes,
would
we're both
we
nine.
do if we were running for president on election day?
Well, we would do well because first of all, we are humane. Okay,
Oh,
let's
yeah.
get it. And
Yeah.
don't forget, our signs are governed by a human figure. Yours is the Virgin, mine is the water bearer.
That's right.
Okay, not an animal and not a frog or a dog. We're humans. So therefore,
Not a symbol.
yeah, we would take a humane approach to doing something. Don't forget, this is also the age of Aquarius. So that means and see what Aquarians, they don't like to see people homeless. Imagine in
Right.
California, Governor Newsom has passed a law that if you're homeless, you are arrested. As if people want to be homeless just to be arrested.
It
Okay?
we
And that's insane.
It's insane. And you know what's so sad, Lloyd, about this? We're giving so much money, right, to Israel and Lebanon and Ukraine and all these other places. But when you think about Florida and North Carolina, but just our major cities, we have such homelessness and just tragic living situations in our country. And I really do feel we're at a breaking point. Whoever does win, they've got to like have a change of heart because our country is really headed in the wrong direction. And I think it's a deeper thing that people need to think about. Yeah, we have to choose one of these two. But I think if people are really honest with their own hearts or souls, it is the lesser of two evils for most people when they go in and click their vote or ballot or whatever, because it's challenging even for me. Hey, I'm ready to, like I said, I'm ready to vote for Biggie Astrology or Numbers and You, Lloyd Strayhorn and Eric Taylor.
Yeah,
Listen, we
yeah.
can get our own ticket going.
Yeah, because first of all, our intention is not to go to war, much less over profit. Not only that, how can you give billions and billions of dollars to the Middle East, to Ukraine, and yet when this hurricane affected Florida and North Carolina, uh, I think it was Kamala Harris that got up there and says, "Well, each of the people affected is going to get $720. What can you do with $720 when your house has been devastated? If you
Wait, and
buy
that wasn't even
so
per
much of
person, that was
food,
per house.
yes, exactly. And so this, so there's and see, so people are now using a little common sense. There seems to be something wrong with that equation.
Oh, yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So it's not you and I just talking about this. I'm talking about you and I have our pulse on what's going on.
Oh,
Okay.
definitely.
And
Yeah.
and without question, people are exercising a common sense. Well, $720 to kind of get you can't do nothing with that.
No. But I also will say this, even during the pandemic, we found all these millions and billions for this and to save banks and help Fortune 500 companies. You always can find money. But I feel, to be honest with you, we still need to find the money for reparations. 40
Well,
acres and a
let me
mule,
tell you
right?
that.
What did Brother Spike Lee say? 40 acres and a mule.
Yeah.
So I mean, because people think it just goes away, but it doesn't. The trauma doesn't go away. for the slave or the slave master, and the money didn't go away. It went into insurance companies, banks, these corporations to
All
land.
did well. But let
Yeah,
me say this too. For those who don't understand, we came here not as slaves. We were enslaved. There's a whole different mindset.
yeah.
Okay. We were
And truth be
enslaved.
told, many of us were already here.
Yeah, we were enslaved. And for hundreds of years, we built this country.
Oh
We
yeah.
put this country on the world map. Now,
Yep.
people won't want to deal with it. And here's the irony: every other ethnic group can get all kinds of reparations.
Oh, they have.
But when it comes to us, we work, as Malcolm X says, to you can't see in the morning till you can't see at night. Okay. And then once during the 1800s, once the after the Civil War, then they took the reverse with us. Well, we just lazy and shiftless. Now all them hours we put in, now all of a sudden we lazy and shiftless. It's a game.
And
It's a
that's the
straight
problem,
up
and that's
game.
unfortunate, the propaganda, because for anybody to buy into that, it means you really don't know the truth and you don't know your history, you know. So I want to go back to the numerology, because even just focusing on both of them being born on full moons, give us some insight of the degrees, right? So for her, the sun and moon's at 27. What does
Well,
that
nine
mean
is her
for Kamala?
opposition number.
Right.
Nine is called the royal scepter, one who succeeds as a result of their productive intellect. The only blessing about this particular nine versus 18 or nine is composed of a 2 and a 7. Well, Kamala Harris's numbers are the 2, 7, and 6, which is 9 upside down. With Donald Trump, though, his numbers are the 5, 6, and 9. All righty. So I forgot what degrees his is
So
in.
his sun is at 20 and his moon's at 21.
Well, 20 is called the awakening. It is a
Mm.
picture symbol of a man, a child, and a woman kind of ascending from a grave about to ascend to the heavens. It's about raising people's consciousness or awareness. All righty. Um, so you can take
Well,
that.
I guess he did that with the cold fake news and drain the swamp talk. Well, listen, Lloyd, I will say this, right? I'm not getting into whatever, you know, he did have his one term. The one thing that I will say about somebody like that with the Gemini sun and the North Node and Uranus there, he played that out in the sense of that trickster energy. And you know, we're both native New Yorkers, so you know, I tell people I met him at a GQ party once. But
Yeah.
you know, with a lot of the controversy around, you know, not paying workers at Atlantic City, not renting, you know, to, you know, African American people in the Trump Plaza and things like that, you know, he definitely was quite the Uranian energy of the contrarian,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so
Mm-hmm.
does you said the 20, what's the 21? I know it breaks down to a 3, but what's the
So the
21?
21 is called
Ooh,
the world card. It is
ooh,
known that one who succeeds after a long test of initiation. And what's so amazing is about the 21, it is governed by 3, which rules the planet Jupiter, which has dominion over foreigners, foreign countries, foreign languages. And do you know it takes 21 days to break a habit and it takes 21 days to form a habit, you know?
and
And
that
they
moon, you said Jupiter, that moon's in Sagittarius.
yeah, and which is governed by, you know what I'm saying, Jupiter in and of itself. And then if you look at the three symbolically, the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit, the Mother, the Father, the Mother, the Child,
Child, yeah.
past, the present, and the future, you
Yeah.
know? So all of these things, there's so much symbology to all these. So even J.P. Morgan in his day, he was born in the 1800s. When
Yep.
they found out that he used astrology, they says, is it true that that astrology make millionaires? He says, no, it makes billionaires.
Yep.
He hired Evangeline Adams. In her autobiography, The Bowl of Heaven, she explained that she taught him astrology. So
Really?
maybe that's why he did not go on the Titanic, because just in April of that year of 1912, Mercury went retrograde in the sign of Aries, his sign, because the ship was supposed to have actually arrived in New York City on his birthday in New York City on his birthday, and yet he was not on it.
Well, listen, you know they knew because they were trying to bring in the Federal Reserve. And those guys on the ship, they didn't want that to happen. That's how all that stuff was going
I
down.
heard there's a whole lot of things that happened.
Yeah. There's a whole lot with that.
Fate
That's
would
deep though.
happen, but as fate would happen, just 17 days before the anniversary, um, J.P. Morgan died on March the 31st of 1913. He died 1 year short because it hadn't even
One
come up.
day of his
Because
birthday.
it sunk on April 14th of 1912. So it was April 14 of 1913, celebrating the 1 year celebration of the sinking. Well, he died on March the 31st of that year,
Wow.
1913. So it's almost as if that fate had caught up to him. And by the way, J.P. Morgan actually had astrologers on his staff. Now, this was in the early 1900s.
Oh,
Don't
yeah.
J.P. Morgan still exist, bank?
That's right. Chase, JP Morgan Chase.
Yeah, yeah. And Charles Schwab used astrology too. Hitler used astrology. Napoleon used astrology. Most of these people use astrologers. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, they don't talk about it like that, but if they use it, why can't the layperson use and take advantage of how the constellation moves in their planet, in their stars? Okay.
But
This,
also, and that's what I always explain to people too, Lloyd. If they know it, you better know it, and you better use it for good because you know they're using it for nefarious and maybe sometimes for evil. So don't think that it's something, because I tell people, just like you said last time on this show, numerology is in the Bible, so is astrology, but it's in the Bible, the Torah, and the Quran. And so it's very, very important. So let me ask you a question about this stuff leading up to it, because I did mention it before, and I want to explain to people. Pluto goes into Aquarius. You heard Lloyd mention Age of Aquarius, which we're already in, but it will be there for the next 20 years, starting November 19th.
yeah.
But that last little bit, the third and fourth, with Mars opposing Pluto and Capricorn, it's very intense. So break down the numerology and what that is for November 3rd and then the 4th.
Well, see, Pluto for me rules the number 9.
Yes.
Pluto is the transformation of is the planet of transformation. And I described it this way. Because it's going to be sitting there for the next 20 years in the sign of Aquarius, that means winners become losers and losers become winners. So those
Power
who
to
are
the people.
standing up,
Yes.
yeah, exactly. That's why you're my man, Eric. You easy to talk to. You see what I'm saying? That's exactly why you're my man. So for those that have looked downcast at the people, expect that to change. And I'm telling you, people better really get their act together and humble themselves.
Listen,
Okay.
listen. Maybe we could get a national holiday for my brother Huey P. Newton. Another
February 17th is his
another
birthday.
Aquarian.
You
Whew.
so so you never know. There used to be this saying, there for the grace of God go I. Maybe Gavin Newsom one day might be homeless, although he's the mayor of California right now. You never know. And see, when these planets take effect the way they do, no human can affect the influence of the cosmos.
You cannot escape the
Heaven.
astrology. That's what I always
Yeah,
tell people.
yeah,
You
you
you could
can't.
because you'll hear stories where people are like, oh, they didn't leave the house and this and that, and all of a sudden, a pot of water gets flipped over and stuff. Because I remember, oh man, I saw it strong. I think if you remember, a year and a half ago, just a quick little anecdotal story. A year and a half ago, we had a 6 or 8 month transit of Mars and Gemini. And I saw it where one son had the Gemini in the 10th house, and he was playing basketball and he fell and hit his arm and elbow. Had to take him to
Which
the
is a
ER.
Gemini aspect, rule the
Yep,
hands,
Mars
arms,
and
and
Gemini.
shoulders.
Yep. And
Yep.
then another kid who's a Cap rising, the Gemini in the 6th house, Mars and Gemini. He's going in the toaster, flipping some toast, and then literally Mars, right, burns. He burnt his hand, Gemini. I was like,
Yeah,
you can't make this stuff up.
yeah, yeah. But see,
So
people have to be trained in the art of what we do. And
yes,
sometimes people think we be making it up. So this is why I wrote books. And when I say these are your numbers, they say, oh, Lord, you're a nice guy. But I wrote it in my book. And my book was published, my original Numbers in You book was published 45 years ago. I
wow,
told them it would stand the test of time. It was
that's
published in
right.
1980, and
That's
the book is
amazing.
still going strong,
And because
because
it
it's
doesn't
really
it doesn't
universal
go
principle.
away.
Huh?
It doesn't. So okay. So now that's interesting. Give us the numerology of your book, 1980, and what
It was
month?
in the year of the 9. It
Yeah.
was in the year of the monkey. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And so it seemed like when the 9 comes up, things are very important. So since I'm coming into a 9 year, in fact, I'm going to be doing a course teaching people how to become professional numerologists. That's in February on the 25th. Then
Okay.
on April the 13th, I'm going to actually give a course on palmistry. You know, Napoleon once says the face may deceive, but the hand never. So you can have a woman with the most beautiful, beautiful makeup and all that stuff. But when you open that hand, if those lines are not correct, I don't care what that face look like. You
So
know what I'm
you
saying?
okay? I've seen. Okay, so a couple of things. So I want you to share your website. All the information is down below, but just tell the audience how they can sign up for your class and give them that information. And then I want you to explain the palm and the hand stuff. But so share your information so people
Okay,
can sign up for your class.
to get all my services and whatnot, my newsletter, my mobile app called A Star 8, ASTAR, the number 8, available on Amazon, I mean on Android and Apple. Go to Linktree, linktr.ee/numbers and you.
Okay.
Linktree/numbers and you.
Yeah.
So yes, so I will, and you know the hand is the of all, you know, the whole body is a beautiful instrument by God. But when you do the hands are those that hold you, protect you,
Yeah.
defend you, caress you, scratch an itch. I
Yeah.
mean, it ties
And
it.
we receive with our left, right, Lloyd? And then
Yes,
we the right is
energy to the
more
right.
respect and aggression and action oriented,
Yes,
and the
that's
left.
right. There's one hand that brings in the energy, then there's another hand that sends out the energy. But see, each finger is ruled by a planet. This
Oh,
one is ruled by Jupiter. This is why it's called, we know to the negative, Jupiter's the dictator finger. So when a parent is cursing them out, they use that first finger. Did not tell you never to do that again. So the second finger, the tallest, is Saturn. So when I see people that are very tall, they must have Saturn or Capricorn somewhere aspected in their chart. Then the third finger is the sun, which you put the gold ring on. Okay. And then the fourth finger is pinky. Then underneath the thumb is Venus. I mean, there's different parts of the hands. Then there's the mouse, then there's the lines, and there's the nails and things of that
okay.
nature.
So you said underneath the thumb is Venus?
Yes, that's Venus. That's the line that goes around the ball of the thumb. That's your Venus. And then your thumb represents your will and your logic. You know, the whole hand is a planetary universe,
Oh, Lord, I love this.
you know, and that's what
Now,
I'm going to
now,
be
see, you
teaching
taught me
also.
something today. I like
Yeah, I'm
that.
going to be teaching that on April 13th, a course on that. And and then I will have, beginning in January, called the Power Series each month to empower you, such as the power of precious metal, the power of manifestation, the power of relationships, the power of money. That, I mean, every month will be dedicated to empower our listeners about something we do. I might have you going to talk about the power of the stars, what's
Yeah,
on with the cycles. So
yeah.
don't be surprised if I have you on as a guest, and people will be invited to come in, and they will get information that sometimes we can't always express on platforms because of
Yes.
supposedly free speech, First Amendment
Right.
free speech.
No, and that's important.
It's
It's
been
important to
edited.
have these groups, you guys, and to attend them. Like, when Lloyd has his offerings and when I do my astrological coffee talk with Eric, because, like for example, I did Kamala's chart, Trump's chart. I think last month I did Sean Combs, Diddy's chart. And so
Yes.
when you do it in private, because I don't like to get into those charts in the public sphere. I think it's very, it's just my code of ethics.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but you know what I mean? But in private, you can really dig deep. And for me, it's not for anything salacious. It's really a teaching tool because we kind of know these people. We don't. We think we do, but
Hmm.
we do have a historical database of their lives, right, in the public sphere chronicled. It is fascinating, right? I even did Mr. 2000 yards himself, Orenthal James, OJ Simpson's birth chart.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
was
Born July
fascinating.
9th.
Yeah, that was fascinating. So,
Yeah.
so it's very important. So you guys make sure you reach out to Lloyd and sign up and learn this because listen, when you tap into the numerology and you tap into the astrology, you I don't want to say you have a leg up on people, but you really do. But
Yes,
but
we do. Yes, we
you
do.
do. But it also, don't you feel, Lloyd, it kind of makes you like a Jedi. Everything slows down because you see it coming.
Well,
I'm never
we do,
surprised
and
anymore, Lloyd.
we're in a very unique position because we have a way of looking at things through a different set of lens, cosmic lens.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so we can forecast things.
Yeah.
And so people will say, "How do you know it?" And we seem like seers or something. And you might be right, a Jedi. You know what's that about? But we know that everything is cyclical. You and I are simply the interpreters of the movements of the stars and the movements of the numbers.
Yeah.
Now, somebody asked me, "Do I have a social media?" Yes, I'm on TikTok under numbers.
Yes.
Under
Social media, there's guys everywhere. Come on.
yeah,
Look down below in the description. And listen, please make sure you guys like, subscribe, share this video out with everybody because it's so important to get this information and knowledge. But yes, go follow Lloyd. Tell him it's Numbers and You everywhere, right? Instagram,
yeah,
TikTok.
everything. Yes, and even on YouTube, my YouTube channel, every Monday and Wednesday, which you will be a guest on the first, you're gonna start off the new year
Oh yeah.
forecasting how the heavens are gonna move.
Oh
And
yeah.
then your beautiful wife, Alana, is gonna be on a week from there on the 8th, talking about the things that she does. And so that
You know
is
that's perfect. And I know why you did that, because she's born on the 26th. So that's 8.
yes, of course, of course. I know how to keep peace in the family. Okay, it's easy, real simple. And you're the first because you're born on the 10th or
Yeah.
1. You know, a lot of
It-
times when I do my guests, it seems to either match their zodiac sign or their date of birth. But that's how we do. But my show is every Monday and Wednesday live with Lloyd. That's the name of it.
Yep.
But the YouTube channel is called Numbers and You by Lloyd
Yes.
Strayhorn. And
Yeah.
my
And
app
it is a great, oh man. I mean, you had a lady on last night. I was busy with the kids and doing some work. Had
on
to,
detoxing.
yeah. Oh, she. And I still need to connect with the financial lady. We've played phone
Yana
tag. Yeah,
Woodhouse. Yeah,
we're gonna get together eventually. So
yeah.
hopefully she gets to watch this, as well as Miss Kimberly Williams as well. Kimberly Williams. So I want to find out from you this. Um, Now let's finish. You kind of started with the 3rd. What's the energy of November 4th?
Well, November 4th, well, when I look at that day, that's a 5 universal day. It means a day for change. It means a turning point. It rules opportunities. Because it is governed by 5 that governs Mercury, it means things that deals with the public, deals with communications, deal with import, export, the stock exchange, the literary field, the travel industry, things of that
Mhm.
nature. It deals with Geminis and Virgos, respectively, or anybody born on the 5th, the 14th, or the 23rd, but it's also a day of opportunities, whether you take advantage of it or not. But because it's falling on the 4th day, it means odd and opportunities in an odd and unusual way when you least expect it. Things like that, because 4 is ruled by Uranus, the planet of the odd and unusual and the sudden and unexpected. So when you put all these things together, man, this is why we don't get bored, Eric. That's why, it's like, what?
I listen. I tell people. I said, starting tonight. It is a race to the finish, and it is going to be a wild race. So, looking at the numerology, but also in your own intuition, because I know you're very intuitive, right? Being in Aquarius and just all your planetary alignments. Do you think that we're going to get results anytime soon
Regarding what?
of
The
the
election?
election?
I don't
Will
think
we
so.
go to bed that night knowing who the next president is?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
Mm-mm. Because there's too much tension, and then there was something in the news about some mailing boxes or ballot boxes was
Yeah,
burned.
fire,
There's
something burnt. Yeah, it's already, the controversy's already
all
started.
kind of drama. So we don't know. And of course, and because there is this urge for Donald Trump to really get back into office, well, we'll see. You will see. But whatever it is, we know this: a week from the 5th, there will be declared a new president of the United States, good, bad, or indifferent. Okay, and it's just as they move forward, how they're going to lead this nation. Okay, and hopefully it should be at least stress free. People under a lot of stress. It before in the early in the 1980s and whatnot, the whole thing was to send all the jobs abroad. Labor was cheap, you know what I'm saying, and bring it back and sell it at a premium and whatnot. And since then, since the 2000, now people have come back home. So the labor market is making an impact. Thus, the stock workers, you know what I'm saying? They resolved that quick because for every day they were in strike, it would take about 2 weeks just to get.
Oh, that whole thing down on the docks, yeah, that was
Yeah,
not gonna fly because
and you're talking about going into the holidays too, when
it would have been.
when these business people are thinking
But
about
I
charging
still
money.
believe right now we may still have. I don't know if they came back yet. The Boeing was on strike. The Boeing workers.
Yeah, they laid about thousands of people off just last week.
Yeah. So
But people are coming
people.
back and saying, how can a lemon? I'm serious. I was in the supermarket. One organic lemon was $1.99.
Oh, it's
And
crazy.
rent
And
is
then
up,
and
food
it's
is
even
up.
worse in Canada. Like what they're charging for the fruits and veg. I couldn't
Yeah,
believe it.
yeah, yeah.
So, okay, so I want to ask you this. Now, this may not. I know you're a wealth of knowledge, so I may not be putting you on the spot because I know you know so
We'll
much.
see.
You're like a computer, like me. So, when I think about like these 6 swing states that are so important, I wanted to know if you know different numbers of, let's say, the Michigan, the Pennsylvania, the Nevada, Arizona. Um, what's the other one? Michigan, Pennsylvania, Arizona, Nevada. I think what's the other one they consider? Wisconsin and somewhere else. The swing state. Is it Ohio too?
Well, let me see. Which one did you mention?
So okay, so let's start with Michigan.
Michigan. Okay, let me see. This is from my book where I broke down all the
I
states.
love it. I know.
Okay?
I knew you
Yeah.
got it covered. He's a wealth of knowledge.
Michigan is an Aquarius state founded on January the 26th, 1837. It's in my book, by the way. You can pick it up on Amazon.
I
Okay.
love it. You guys go
So
get it.
since Michigan will be going into a 9 universal year, and this is a 9 personal year, this is a 9 universal year, I would say Michigan is going. And in fact, Michigan is very, very important because if nothing else, strong, uh, shall we say,
Ju-
Middle Eastern people in that area.
Oh yeah,
You
yeah,
see what I'm saying? Arab communities and things like that. What was
yes.
the other state you mentioned?
Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania. Yeah, there are no. Oh, by the way, there are no Aries state. There are no Libra states.
Oh, I knew there was no Aries. You said that earlier. I didn't realize no
Yeah,
Libra.
but there were no Librans either.
That's
There are no
fact.
Librans either.
Okay.
And as for, shall we say, Pennsylvania, that's a Sagittarius state, founded on December the 12th of 1787.
Okay. So Pennsylvania. Hmm.
So it will
I
be
wonder if
going
that
into
favors
his
if
personal
that
year.
favors one more than the other. He is the Sag Moon.
Yeah,
Um,
so that would be favored in that sense. What was the other state you mentioned?
um, where I
Oh,
currently
you
live,
mentioned Arizona.
Arizona. Yeah.
That's an Aquarius state, January the 29th, 1861.
Hmm. Aquarius state.
And that means it's going to be entering a Jupiter phase. It's going to be going into a 3 personal year, the state of Arizona. Expansion, good luck, prosperity, things
Yeah.
of that nature.
Oh yeah. Well, I think the Michigan and Arizona may favor her because of the Aquarius, and
Well,
she's
not only that, they're air signs.
well. That's what I was thinking because she's the Libra Sun and the Gemini Ascendant. So
Yeah.
that Aquarius, being in her I guess being in her ninth house, that could definitely be beneficial, beneficial for her. So how about Nevada?
Nevada, let's see. Nevada. Um, Nevada. I should have it here. Nebraska, Nevada.
And you guys have to know that when Jupiter is transiting your ascendant, that is definitely blessings of the I am energy, which does, really help out Kamala being a Gemini rising. It really.
Nevada is a Scorpio.
Ooh,
It was founded on October the 31st of 1864.
okay. Scorpio. Hmm.
Mhm. And then North Dakota and South Dakota were founded on the same day, on November the 2nd of 1889.
November the 2nd, they were Scorpios as well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so just the other two potential swing states, North Carolina.
Okay, North Carolina. Let me see. North Carolina. That is. Da-da-da-da-da-da. North Carolina is a Scorpio. It was founded on November the 21st of 1789. So it's going through a 5-year personal year. So that means it's going to be a year of opportunity and change. There's things and questions about some of the recent uh, uh, weather activities because
Oh
it's
yeah.
high in uranium content and all
Oh,
of
the
this.
lithium and
Yeah, lithium and all of a sudden.
the crystal quartz. I was like,
Yeah, yeah,
you got to be kidding me, man.
yeah. Then all of a sudden, well, we ain't gonna put nothing in the fixing up North Carolina. Are you serious? You see what I'm saying? So I mean, people are awake. I think one of the things is their question is, what can I do? But people are waking up. And so this is things you can't hide. So this Pluto
Right.
and Aquarius, all of
Oh,
this
it's
stuff.
gonna bring up all the
Yeah,
information. Yeah. Oh,
yeah,
listen,
yeah. That's why
listen,
Joe Lewis said you can run or you can't hide, you know?
or like Lauryn Hill said, "I'm gonna find
Yeah,
you."
oh yeah, yeah. And keep you happy. Okay.
Lord. Okay, the last state, Georgia.
Okay.
So,
Let's see. Where is Georgia?
yeah, what's up with Georgia?
Georgia is a Capricorn founded on January the 2nd of 1788.
Mm.
All of this is in my book. They can pick up at Amazon. I've got 4 books listed. They're all in different colors.
And tell what's the title of that one again?
This one is Lloyd's Numbers in You, a numerology guide for the 21st century and beyond.
That's
Lloyd's
beautiful.
Book of Numbers, the
Oh
numerology guide for
man,
the 21st
I tell you,
21st century and
I
beyond.
love it. I
And
love
this is
it.
the classic book. Everybody should pick this up. This is the Bible, Lloyd's Numbers in You, a numerology guide for everyday living. This is the book I published 45 years ago.
Wow.
And at that time, it was 180 pages. Now this is 400 pages.
What?
Yes, so it expanded. It grew. It grew. It's new and revised in every sense of the word. And I have the book on audio file too, where you
Well,
can hear.
that's where I'm gonna sit with
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
I already told my beautiful wife to order that one for me on the Audible because I just like I just be like, all right, boys, I need some
And
quiet.
I recorded it myself. It's in my own voice.
Oh, that's too good.
Yeah, I recorded my own book. It
I
took me
love that.
about a week.
So wait, let's not neglect the people. Let's go back to the chat and take a couple of questions in there, Lloyd, and see what people are asking or talking about.
It says, okay, I have to get the book. I'm here. I'm the 4th of July. So they're born the same as the United States. So
Oh wow.
their key numbers are the 4, 1, 2, and 7. And it tells me Moon Goddess likes to be different, very sensitive, a little misunderstood, but to know them is to love them. And they
Yeah.
will find that this year for them has been a year of transition, but a lot of things, well, actually, the year for them has been a year where they've been standing on their own. Now they're ready to make a transition, like changing things around the home, changing things around relationships, and
Yeah.
changing things at the workplace too.
All
So
right,
they
Moon
talk
Goddess.
about this week. And so we answered the call, what is Georgia? That's a Capricorn on January the 2nd.
And Dr. King was a Capricorn.
Yes, February the 16th. Yes, he was.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
January the
January. Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
you know what's ironic?
Uh-huh.
When he was assassinated on April the 4th of 1968, 1968 adds to 24. When you flip 1968 around to 1986, that's when his name became a national holiday. And the president that signed it into law was Ronald Wilson Reagan, born on the 6th day of the month.
Wow.
Yeah. Isn't that interesting?
That's crazy. And then, and also a Saturnian brother. He's the Aquarius and he's the Capricorn.
That's exactly right. And a lot of people don't know or forget that Aquarius was once originally ruled by the planet Saturn
Oh yeah, and
until
you
they
know
refound
I
Jupiter.
still
Uranus.
follow the traditional
Me
rulers
too. Me too. That's
because
why I teach my students.
yeah,
Anytime you're in
you
doubt, go
really
with these
want to look at
7 original
Pisces.
rulers.
Yeah, yeah, you want to look at Pisces with Jupiter, Scorpio with Mars,
Yeah,
and Aquarius with Saturn.
with Saturn.
The
Exactly right.
modern ruler, it gives it a little extra flavor, but you want to look at the traditional ruler,
Well,
definitely.
that's how I teach my students. When in doubt, always go with the 7 original
planets. Yeah.
Can't go wrong.
Well, because they coincide with the days of the week, and that's why I tell people. I said, if we were really a nation that was forward thinking, our work week would be from Tuesday to Friday, 10 hours a day, 40 hours work week. We wouldn't be doing Monday's the day of the moon. Nobody wants to go to work on Monday. That's why,
Yeah,
you guys.
yeah. It deals with emotions and
Yeah,
feelings
it's
and things of that
introspection,
nature.
relaxing. It's the
And this is
moon
why
day.
people are always in a blah day going to work on a Monday.
Yeah. There's
You know?
no reason. So there's so much, and see, and that's how I would like to reimagine the mystery schools and really teach the kids all this stuff along with agriculture and workshop and auto mechanics and finance and banking and all these things, real skills. But for them to learn the esoteric and occult knowledge, boy, we would have and it's coming. Trust me, it's coming.
Yeah, well,
We
it's
would
like
have the sharpest kids.
when I got into numerology, I says, man, everybody should know this. Imagine if they knew this to teach their kids. Imagine if guidance counselors would have this this esoteric device in their school to guide students that, well, you should go into this field, you should go into that field.
Yes.
But in your comments, there is a woman that did say she's born on March the 12th and she is 33 or 6. So it all depends. And what that simply means, she took the month, the day, and the year she's born and added that together. So I think it would be a 6 altogether. But the point is, this person is a water sign with a fire number,
Yeah.
very ambitious, very youthful, very energetic. 6 is very friendly. Their key numbers are the 6, the 3, and the 9. They're about to head into a relationship cycle, which tells me she probably changed her hair somewhere this month or thinking about changing her hair. Because I notice when women are going into a 6 cycle, they've got to need to change their hair, restyle it, redo it, lengthen it,
Okay.
cutting it, whatever.
Is there a particular reason for that?
Yeah, because 6 is a sign of beauty. It's Venus.
Yeah.
That's the beauty sign, the health
Yeah.
sign.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The
And
love
you
sign.
look at even the shape of the 6. It's almost like the little womb.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's
Definitely.
also connected with the family, because you think father 1, mother 2, child 3.
Yeah. And she
6.
doesn't look her age. And this is why she'll attract younger men too.
Uh-oh.
Little things like that.
Watch
So,
out. Okay. Anybody else before we wind down?
I think that was it. That was the only one other than the fourth. And that was it for the most part, looking at everything. Oh, this one, Carmen, she's born on May 15th. She also has the question, was she a 33 or 6? And technically, the way you do it is you put the month at the top, the date of birth underneath, the year underneath that, draw your lines, add your columns, add it across. So whether it's a 33 or 6, here's what's interesting. The month, the day, and the year you're born, we refer to in my field as destiny, life path, birth path number.
Yeah.
The way I explain it, Eric, her month, the day, and year she's born says she's in the 6th grade in the school of life. Because we've all heard that phrase, being in the school of life. And so whatever grade you're in, if you don't learn those lessons. So here's the irony. Not only is her month, day, and year added to a 6, she's born under the sign of Taurus, who's ruled by Venus, which is the number 6. And she's also born on the 15th day. 1 + 5 is 6.
6. So
she's
that's her number.
Around. So that tells me she would either do well in education, real estate, banking, law, working for the government, and thought she might have been going into the arts when she was a young girl too.
Yeah.
So,
and with that Taurus energy, you could see the arts and banking being very intuitive for her.
and real estate too, because it's an earth sign with an earth.
Yeah.
number.
Oh, yes. You know what's so funny? People don't realize that Taurus and Cancers can do extremely well in real estate, property management, landscaping, chefs, teaching, education, all those fields. Really,
well, that's why you're going to be on my show on the 1st of January. It's Live with Lloyd. Please go to your
I cannot
YouTube,
wait.
and my YouTube channel is Numbers in Use. So just click on that day, reserve it. He will be featured on January the 1st,
7 p.m. Eastern.
That's right. Don't forget, 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern, with my buddy, the Big E, my man Eric Taylor.
Oh, I can't wait, Lloyd. So this has been so much fun, like always. So I want to go out on a positive note, right? Now, we always joke and say, listen, you go in there and you know how to vote for. You can write in there in the ballot. You could write in Eric Taylor or Lloyd Strayhorn. It's just an option.
You could. Yes, you could.
Saying, you could.
But not that it's going to get us anywhere, but you have options. That's the beauty of exercising your United States citizens independent thing.
So now I know that we are July 4th, and then we have the election day,
Mhm.
November 5th, and inauguration January 20th. Can you break down those three dates that are kind of are really forming our union? I mean, it used to be March 4th. It gave us the trine of Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, but now we're dealing with Cancer, Scorpio, Capricorn. But what are those days in terms of the numerology and the meanings? Start
Well,
with
first of all,
July
the
4th.
one that's taking place on the 4th, which is one day before the election itself, is very meaningful because the United States itself was founded on the 4th day of the month in the water sign of Cancer. This is in the water sign of Scorpio. I think the moon or the ascendant of the United States is either Scorpio or something like that.
Oh,
If
it's Sagittarius.
Sagittarius,
Yeah.
okay. But the 4th, and then the next day is the 5th. Now, 4s and 5s are both air numbers, okay?
Okay.
And it brings about a change. And here we have both candidates that happen to be under air signs, which I thought was very interesting.
Mm.
And so that in
November
and of
5th is
itself,
change, and you got two
yes.
air
And
signs.
5
Okay.
represents change, opportunities, things like that, change for the better. And so it all depends on the people who vote, how they vote, and then what's interesting in the election of 2017, I said that Hillary Clinton would win. Well, she did win the popular vote. She didn't win the electoral vote. So
Very
see,
big
there are
dip.
two things that's going on. See, so this is what makes for like a touchy situation. So a lot of people might vote for one candidate where the popular vote says one thing,
Yes.
but the electoral vote says a whole nother
And
thing.
and we got to stop that because that was back in days with horse and carriage and
That's
buggies,
exactly right. That was
and
for that time.
and it
If
should
you
just
move
be
it
based
fast
on the
forward.
citizens and the numbers, not just based on, oh, this state gets more electoral votes and this state gets more. No, that's
Yeah,
silliness.
yeah,
Base it on the 360 million people, how many cast their votes, and whoever has the most votes should be the winner.
yeah. But and they did admit that, and I was right in my prediction. That was the last prediction. I says Hillary Clinton would win, and she did win the popular vote, but he won the electoral vote, which tells me you got two votes going on. So
Yeah.
which one is which one?
And
Which
then
one are
states
we?
have different values.
Yeah, yeah.
So then it's like it almost creates like state division and state war.
Well, that is why we are at each other's throats, unfortunately.
I
And you know
know.
what? No one comes out the winner at all.
No.
No one except the powers that be or the manipulators that be who
Yes.
does this. So, but
So
there
okay,
is
so tell
a
us
way
what is
better.
it for January 20th? What's the numerology of that?
Well, for January 20th, it's going to be a one universal month, which means that we all should start the month on a fresh start. We should all think in terms of being independent, which what's interesting is in a one universal month, if a person's entering the month of late December into January in a codependent relationship, by the time January is over, they will be forced to stand on their own,
Mm,
forced to make their own decisions. And so that's what it is. A lot of people are going to step out on faith. This is when businesses started. People get raises, promotions, and things of that nature. But there's going to be a sense of independence about things and speaking their truth, which is the nature of a one.
I love that. Now, listen, I'm going to tell people as we get ready to finally say goodbye. I did some research on you, and I'm kind of fascinated. You said something really deep.
Which is
Tuesday is not a good day for America. So then, why would they have their election day on a Tuesday?
because
You
nobody
said,
told them they should have consulted us.
yeah,
First
because
of
you
all,
said Sunday
Tuesday
and
is the
Monday. Didn't
see
you say Sunday, Monday is the best day for America?
the United States was founded on the 4th, and therefore its key numbers are the 4, 1, 2, and 7. Thus, Sunday and Monday are always its best days. The opposition days to this country is always on a Friday first, a Tuesday, and a Saturday. So
Mm,
don't forget the New York Stock Exchange crashed on Friday, the 29th of October. That was the first major stock market crash. Okay. So why they had it on? But then again, this gets back to the horse and buggy days. See
yeah,
what I'm saying? Where they had to take that time to get to where they needed to go. Now you can do it over the computer. You can do it over the phone. You
cell
can do it
phone.
drive. Yeah, all kinds of ways. So what I'm saying is they need to bring the voting system to what they call the 21st century.
Well, definitely, but I think it's so bizarre that it would be on a Tuesday when that's like the second worst day for the election in our country.
Yeah, yeah.
And doesn't stuff like that make you seem, because let's be honest, they know this knowledge,
I
right?
would have to think somebody has to
We're
be
talking
aware.
about Washington and all these people. Back
Yeah,
in the day, they were
yeah,
all Freemasons. This
yeah,
country, and even the fact that it was Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, a trine, they are aware, right? The dollar bill, right? It's got the Eye of Horus, the
yeah,
pyramid. I mean,
yeah.
come on, they're not. There's no dummies.
No,
So to
no.
put election day on a Tuesday, which is the day of Mars,
Yeah, yeah. And
so
one of the direct opposition planets to this nation.
yeah,
Why
so
would it
it's
do that?
and then I always tell people, when you only have two choices, you don't have any. And then you've got what we call third world countries, where election day can be 2 or 3 days. They do it on a holiday. To have election day the first Tuesday in November, when the weather can be terrible, you got some people to work 2 3 jobs in this country, God bless them. It's like them saying, we don't really want you to vote.
Well, I tell you this, there's a lot, and you got to understand the history of voting in the black community.
Oh
How
yeah.
many jelly beans are in the jar?
Yeah.
Little things like that.
Oh
All
yeah.
kinds of things that was done. And so what my thing was, for a people supposedly not of knowledge and wisdom, why would you stand in the way? Because if we were that inferior, you wouldn't have to get in our way. You wouldn't have to pass laws.
That's
There's
right.
an excellent book by Richard Rothstein called The Color of Law, how this
Oh,
country instituted ways to keep us financially in check. So
oh yeah.
therefore, they will give reparations to every single ethnic group, but they seem to not have a problem giving it to us. And yet we built this country. And let me be clear about that. There
Yeah.
is no getting around that. And so when I say,
Crystal clear.
yeah, so that's it. That. Okay, so I guess that's it. What about Benjamin Banneker? In fact, Benjamin Banneker's birthday is next month. I'm going to do a piece on Benjamin
Oh,
Banneker.
yeah, what is the date of his birthday? I forgot.
It's June 19th. I mean, November 19th.
November 19th. Oh, that's when Pluto goes into Aquarius. And
Yeah.
he would have loved that because he predicted one of the early solar eclipses.
He
He
built the first movable clock of the
first
United in this
movable clock.
country.
He
He laid out
designed
Washington, D.C.
Washington, D.C. It should be called Banneker City.
Woo, I like that. I
Yes,
like that.
sir.
And he was
Banneker
a
City.
and he was a descendant of the Dogons in Africa
Yes.
of Mali that understood the Sirius star, the
Dog Star City.
Scorpion,
Yes.
and yet these brothers and sisters had no telescope. How did they do that? Carl Sagan says, well, man came from outer space, the missionaries came through. See, we can't get no kind of credit, brother. No kind. That's all I'm saying.
I taught my son, who was 15 years back, I was teaching him about Benjamin Banneker. And let me tell you, one of the most brilliant brothers and humans in world and American history, Benjamin Banneker, was something.
I'd
Okay.
recommend everybody pick up this book,
Oh, there you go. I love it.
Benjamin Banneker. And I'm
Yeah.
going to pay a tribute to him in November next month.
Okay. Well, I will watch that episode. Are you going to do it on the podcast?
Yeah, he's a surveyor, astronomer, publisher, patriot. A brother was a genius.
Yes.
Brother was a genius.
Straight up and down genius.
Yeah. And
I
on the day he died, his cabin was burned. All his records were burned.
yes,
Go figure.
uh,
Go
don't
figure.
don't get me started.
Yeah, this is what I'm trying to tell you, E. Okay?
So,
That's what we do. So anyway, you
Lloyd,
started this, man. I was minding my business. But anyway.
thank you again. This was more than fun. Please, everybody, do what you want to do. We laid out the information. It's
Yeah.
really a coin toss. Vote with your heart. Don't vote out of anger or hate. And don't even go into those frequencies and vibrations. It only affects you, right? Forgiveness is a gift to you. So we have to be at a place of love. And as we're moving in, as Lloyd has been mentioning, this age of Aquarius, and Pluto goes into Aquarius November 19th, it is going to literally be a new world. What you see today, and with this Scorpio new moon coming up on November 1st, Lloyd, that I just did a video
Yeah.
on, make sure you
Yeah.
guys watch it.
Yeah.
It is literally, it's time to say goodbye to the past. we're moving forward into a new era, a new time of revelation and truth. So let's get ready for it. Let's lead with our hearts and stay connected to Lloyd Strayhorn, Numbers in You, and Eric Taylor, Biggie Astrology. And we will connect again on January 1st to
And I
get
want
to,
to say one thing. You
yeah,
know, they talked about by 2030 will be the new world order. Well, if you look at it, and with Pluto in Aquarius until the next 22 years,
2044. Yeah.
yeah, I don't think that's going to be. Now, that might be one of the projections,
That's
but
their desire, but they,
that is not the desire of the heavens, though.
no, exactly. And
They didn't
so
check with the
that's
stars.
why things are so crazy now, Lloyd, because they know their time is up.
Yeah, yeah.
And we won't even get into things like planet Nibiru and things like that. Okay. They know their time is up. So, and listen, as I told people with this transit of Pluto Capricorn until November 19th, continue to get your, get like what did Terrell Owens say? Get your popcorn ready because you're seeing the structures and systems crumble,
Hmm.
political, financial, entertainment. When it goes into Aquarius, you're going to see things change around science, technology, environmental, nonprofit stuff. You're going to see, like we said, more freedom, power to the people. Those homeless people, they're going to be all right.
Yeah, that's what
They
I'm
got to
saying.
hang on.
Yeah, yeah.
They're going
Gavin
to be all
Newsom
right.
might be out in the street. You know what I'm saying? You never know. You never know. Gotta
Listen,
be nice.
Lloyd
Gotta be
got
nice to
some beef
people.
with Gavin Newsom, and he don't even live in California.
No, but I mean, how
No,
can
no, I
you?
know what you mean.
Yeah,
It's
how do
wrong.
you say that to people?
It's
That's
terrible.
like saying, okay, y'all deliberately became homeless so I could arrest y'all.
Yeah.
Really?
No,
Really?
it's so disgusting and inhumane, and it really lets you see how these politicians have lost their way. They have no heart.
You know, there's used to be this saying, there for the grace of God go I.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? How little we forget.
I do.
Eric, thank you very much. I look forward to having you. Your turn comes on January the 1st on my show, Live with Lloyd, 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Be there.
I could not wait. Thank you, everybody. This has been great. Be smart, be safe, be careful. Hopefully, if you haven't already voted, try to vote before Election Day. November 3rd and 4th are going to be kind of wild. Keep your third eye open, stay in prayer and meditation and really send out that collective energy for peace and love. We need it for our country, for our peace of mind, for our sovereignty, and for our country. So again, this has been Knowledge is Love Astrology Podcast, episode 261, with my legendary friend, Astro-Numerologist Lloyd Strayhorn, my
It takes
Aquarius.
one to know one, Eric. Okay.
I love it. Thank you, sir. I received that. Thank you. My Aquarius brother. And, listen, when you get a Virgo and Aquarius together, y'all better watch out.
You better watch out. You better watch out.
And listen, we may actually run in 2028. You don't know.
You know what? That might be we got to get our ducats in a row though. Okay. Because they're going to take a lot of ducats to get this thing going. But anyway,
That's
you
all right.
never know.
Listen, we could be funded by the people. The people will support us.
Yeah. Yeah. The
All
people
right.
have all the money too.
All right,
Anyway, have a
guys.
blessed day. Thank you so much, Eric. This was a
Thank
treat.
you, Lloyd.
I
It was
enjoyed
great,
myself.
like always. Bye.
Okay.